What happens when a group of ruthless bikers decides to bully a black man helping a mother on the highway? They never expected how his quiet move would flip the entire situation in the most unexpected way. Before we begin the story, write in the comments where you are watching us from. You ever had one of those mornings when you're just trying to do something good and the world decides to give you a lesson you never asked for? Yeah, that was me. Standing on the shoulder of Highway 57, sun barely up, coffee going cold in my hand while I'm changing a tire for a young mother holding her baby like she's holding on to her last hope. She was crying, you know? Tears cutting through the dust on her face, her baby's tiny shoes kicking the morning air while she kept saying, "Thank you, sir. I don't know what I would have done." I gave her the best smile I could muster, even though my back was already screaming from bending down, and I told her it was no trouble. Truth is, I wasn't just changing her tire. I was trying to hold this world together for 5 minutes, because someone had to. And let me tell you, I was feeling pretty good about that. Felt like maybe, just maybe, the world could use more mornings like this. But you know how life is. The moment you stand up straight, brush off your hands, and think you've done your part, that's when the real test shows up. I heard them before I saw them, 5 engines growling like they owned the highway. A pack of white bikers on big chrome machines, laughing loud enough to scare birds off the guardrail. I could feel their eyes on me before they even stopped, looking me up and down like I was in the wrong place, like I wasn't supposed to be helping anybody. One of them, a big man with a scar that ran down his chin like a crack in old paint, grinned at me while he spit on the ground. "What's this? Boy Scout helping damsels now?" he said, looking back at his crew, waiting for them to laugh. And they did. Loud. Real loud. I told him I was just helping her out, nothing more, and that's when his grin got wider, like he smelled something he liked. He stepped closer, so close I could see the grease under his fingernails, and he looked me dead in the eye. "You think you're some kind of hero?" he said. I didn't answer him. I was too busy checking on the mother behind me, seeing her clutch that baby so tight, her eyes darting like she was trying to find a way to disappear. That's the thing about moments like this. They aren't fair, and they don't wait for you to feel ready. "Hey, hero," Scar said, shoving me hard enough to make me stumble back against the car. "We're talking to you." I stood up straight. My hands were shaking, but I wasn't about to give him the satisfaction of seeing fear. "Back off," I told him, calm, steady. I saw the way his buddy's eyes lit up, like they just found a new game. Another one, younger but with that same empty look in his eyes, pulled out his phone and started recording. "Say hi to the camera, hero," he sneered, stepping close enough that I could see the sweat on his forehead. You ever notice how quiet the world gets right before something bad happens? It's like the wind holds its breath, waiting to see if you're going to stand your ground or run. I chose to stand, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. That woman and her baby, they didn't have anywhere else to go, and that's when Scar laughed and shoved me again, harder. My coffee hit the ground, the cup rolling under their bikes, coffee bleeding out on the asphalt like it was worth something. "Oops," he said, looking down at the spill. "Looks like you dropped something." I looked him in the eye, and I told him to leave the woman alone, to leave the baby alone. I didn't yell it. I didn't even raise my voice. But they heard it, and that made them angrier than any shout could have. He grabbed me by the shirt, pulling me in so close I could smell the stale beer on his breath. "You're on the wrong road, hero," he whispered. And then the first punch came. Fast, hard, knocking the taste of morning coffee out of my mouth. My knees hit the asphalt, and I saw the baby start to cry, the mother's face twisted in fear. They laughed, all of them, circling around me like I was entertainment on their morning ride. A boot to my side, another to my back. My hands scraped on the rough road as I tried to get up, hearing them call me things they thought would break me. But let me tell you something. I wasn't about to break. Not while that baby was watching, not while that mother was praying for someone to help. If no one else would stand up, I would. And as I pushed myself up, spitting dust out of my mouth, I looked up at them, and I let out a small, bitter laugh that even I didn't expect. "You boys done yet? Or you need more practice," I said, "because sometimes all you have left is your dignity, and you hold on to it like it's the last dollar in your pocket." They didn't like that. Oh, they didn't like that one bit. What happened next changed everything. You don't want to miss how this unfolds. You know what's funny? Folks like to say you see your life flash before your eyes when you're in trouble. Let me tell you, that's not what happens. What happens is you see every choice that brought you there, clear as day. Every time you kept quiet when you should have spoken up. Every time you let someone push you to the side because it was easier. Standing there, blood on my lip, I saw every moment I let someone think they could walk over me. And I was done with that. The bikers circled me, engines rumbling low like they were hungry for more. Scar, with that cracked grin of his, looked at me like I was a puzzle he was trying to figure out. "Man's got a lot of nerve standing up like that," he said to his crew, pretending to be amused, but I saw the twitch in his jaw. I wiped the blood off my lip with the back of my hand and chuckled, low and dry. "You boys really get your kicks from jumping a man helping a mother change her tire, huh?" I said, letting every word hang in the air. The mother, clutching her baby behind me, was shaking so hard I thought she might drop the child, but she didn't run. She stood there, brave in her fear. Scar's eyes narrowed. "You think you're better than us?" he asked, taking a slow step forward. I didn't answer, didn't need to, because the truth was I wasn't trying to be better than them. I was trying to be better than the silence they expected from me. Another biker, tall with a patchy beard, pulled out his phone and started recording again. "Let's see how tough you are when everyone can watch you get put in your place," he said, smiling like he thought he was clever. And that's when it hit me. They weren't just trying to hurt me. They wanted to humiliate me, to show the world that they could. That's what this was about. This was their morning entertainment. Scar reached out, grabbed the front of my shirt, and yanked me close. "Say something for the camera," he hissed. I looked at that lens and smiled, even though my ribs were on fire. "This what makes you feel strong?" I asked, my voice steady. He didn't like that. He pulled me down and swung, catching me in the gut so hard I doubled over, fighting to catch my breath while the others laughed. The mother gasped, her eyes darting to the road, to the cars slowing down but not stopping, drivers choosing their safety over helping. Funny thing about pain, it wakes you up, makes you see things clear. I saw the chain swinging from one of the biker's belts, clinking softly as he moved. I saw the fear in the mother's eyes, fear that wasn't just for herself, but for me too. She didn't know me, but in that moment, we were family, bound by the unfairness of what was happening. Scar let go of me, and I dropped to one knee, breathing hard, sweat mixing with the dust on my face. I heard one of them whisper, "He's had enough." But Scar wasn't done. "You think you're some kind of hero? On our road?" he shouted, stepping back and looking around at the cars crawling by. People recording from their windows but not stepping out. I pushed myself up again, slow but steady, planting my feet firm on the ground. "Your road?" I said, shaking my head with a small, bitter laugh. "You don't own nothing but that fear you carry around." Scar's eyes widened, and for a moment, just a moment, I saw it. Doubt. But it was gone in a flash, replaced by anger. He swung again, but this time I caught his arm, held it tight, looking him dead in the eye. "You done yet?" I asked quietly, just loud enough for him to hear. He jerked away, stumbling back, and for a second the whole crew froze. The only sound was the wind and the quiet sobs of the mother behind me. Then the tall one stepped forward, dropping his phone into his pocket, pulling that chain off his belt. It clinked as he wrapped it around his fist, metal glinting in the sun. He smirked, lifting it like he was about to deliver a lesson I'd never forget. I braced myself, feeling every muscle scream in protest. But I wasn't backing down. Not now. Not ever. He swung, and the chain cut through the air, hitting me across the shoulder, burning through the fabric of my shirt. I grunted, stepping back, but kept my eyes on him. He swung again, and I blocked it with my arm, pain exploding through me. But I didn't fall. I wouldn't give them that. They kept coming, a boot to my leg, a chain to my back, fists landing heavy, each hit pushing me closer to the ground. But I kept standing, kept looking at them with a defiance I didn't even know I had left. And in that moment, as they circled me like vultures, I realized something that made me smile. Even through the pain, they were scared. Scared that someone like me wouldn't break. Scared that someone like me would stand up. This is the climax. Everything you've been waiting for is right here. Stay to see how the hero made them all face the truth. Let me tell you something about standing up. It hurts. Every inch of me felt like it had been set on fire as I faced those bikers, breathing hard, sweat mixing with the dirt and blood on my skin. But you know what felt worse than the pain? The idea of backing down. Scar was breathing heavy, too, wiping his hands on his jeans like he was shaking off the truth he just saw. His boys weren't laughing anymore. The one with the chain let it hang at his side, eyes darting to Scar for what to do next, like they were kids who just realized they might have taken the game too far. The mother behind me was whispering prayers under her breath, clutching her baby so close I could hear his small breaths even with all that noise around us. Her eyes met mine and I saw it, the same mix of fear and hope I carried every day. Scar stepped forward again, trying to pull back that grin, but it looked forced now. "You think this is over?" he spat, voice cracking just a bit. I didn't answer. I reached into my pocket, slow, deliberate. His eyes followed my hand, his crew shifting on their feet, not sure whether to jump or watch. I pulled out the small, worn leather case I carried everywhere, the one that felt heavier than it should, because of what it meant. I flipped it open, letting the sun hit that metal just right. Federal Bureau of Investigation. The letters gleamed like a quiet thunderclap. Silence. Complete, thick silence. I saw their faces drop one by one, the color draining like water swirling down a drain. Scar's eyes widened and his lips moved, but no sound came out. The one with the chain took a step back, then another, letting the metal slip from his hand to the pavement with a soft clink that felt louder than any roar they'd made earlier. I took a deep breath, steadying myself, every muscle screaming in pain, but I held that badge high enough so every single one of them could see it. "This your idea of justice?" I asked, voice steady, each word landing like a stone. Scar opened his mouth, then closed it, then opened it again. We didn't—" "Oh, you did," I cut him off, shaking my head slowly. "You thought you could do what you wanted, to whoever you wanted, because you think the road belongs to you." I took a step closer, making sure they could see I wasn't afraid. "Not today." They were looking around now, checking the cars that had stopped, the phones recording from cracked windows, the people who had stayed quiet until now, but were finally brave enough to witness the truth. The mother was crying softly, clutching her baby, but now her eyes held something new: relief, gratitude, the kind that hurts to see because you know she had expected the worst. Scar tried to speak again, but all that came out was a whisper. "We didn't know." I leaned in, lowering my voice so only he could hear. "That's the problem, isn't it?" I said. "You don't think you need to know. You just think you can do whatever you want." I stepped back, holding his gaze, letting him see every ounce of the man who stood back up after they tried to break him. "Not on my watch." Scar stumbled back, almost tripping over his own boots, his crew grabbing their bikes, fumbling with keys, eyes darting everywhere except at me. Engines roared to life, not with the confidence they came with, but with fear, with the knowledge that they had crossed a line they could never uncross. As they pulled away, dust swirling in the air, I felt the weight in my pocket again, the badge reminding me why I carried it in the first place. It wasn't for power. It wasn't for pride. It was for mornings like this, when someone needed to stand up, even when it hurt. I turned to the mother, helping her up, her baby clutching her shirt, wide-eyed but safe. "Thank you," she whispered, voice shaking. I nodded, giving her the smallest smile I could manage. "You're welcome. You're safe now." We stood there for a moment, the quiet settling in, the wind carrying away the fear that had choked this road minutes ago. I looked down at the spilled coffee still staining the asphalt, the badge glinting under the sun, and I realized it was never just about me. It was about every person who had ever been told they didn't belong, every person who had been forced to swallow fear just to make it home. And as I stood there, I made myself a promise. As long as I had breath in my body, I would keep standing up. For them, for me, for every single road they tried to claim, because some roads belong to all of us, and no fear will ever change that.